Welcome back, everybody. My name is Rudy, and you're watching Alpha Investments, and on today's episode of Rudy, Mail Time. Rudy, are my cards real? So we got them all the way from Canada. Rudy is my Tundra fake. We've got eBay purchase, which I probably overpaid. We've got Bizarre card. That's an artist proof. That was a gift. We've got, Rudy, what's the deal with these pre-screened, PSA authenticated, non-graded, graded, what can you explain this whole thing to me? What's the deal with this thing? Okay, we're going to talk about that. And of course, we got this epic card, which somebody separated and sent me as a strange gift. Thought that was interesting. So we got a lot of weird things today to go over. So we're going to start with the most fun and obvious. Let's start with this. So first thing today is, this was, I don't know if this particular one, but I had another one of these a while back ago, about a year ago. People have been asking about these. Rudy, should you pay a premium for these authenticated, non-graded BGS or PSA, I don't know, bizarre little variants of cards? Should you, I don't know. Is it worth doing that, or should this be treated as a raw card? The answer, in my opinion, this should be treated as a raw card. You should not be paying any premium price for these authentic, non-graded or pre-grade, whatever. They took a quick look at it, but they didn't, spend the full amount of time analyzing it. Be very careful with that stuff. Do not overpay or fall for someone with a piece of tape. I have a funny feeling it would not be hard to fake a piece of tape on a plastic case. I'm just laying that out there. So still treat the card as a raw card. Authenticate it. Do your own test. Get out your little Larry and make sure you check the lighting. Do all your fun stuff and everything. Check all your details, all that stuff. So that's what I have to say about that particular card. Next, let's get over to the... let's jump over to this. So next we have this story here. Rudy... I'm sure we're busy. Keep the letters short. My Tundra I told you about. A bit of doubt that the card doesn't quite feel right. When was the date on this? October 23rd? Oh, this was just last week. Perhaps because I haven't held a real dual land in a long time. Many Magic purchases, this was an impulse decision to buy it. I'm wondering if Magic is something I would like to invest again. That's up to you, man. Some people love to invest in Magic, some don't. I had an extensive collection in the past, sold the full batch after declaring bankruptcy in 2015. Ouch. That's some dark days, man. I'm glad you're doing better. I lost a schwack. Boy, that's a schwack of dual lands. In that sale, I know they'd be worth a lot more now. The point is, though, I had to declare bankruptcy because I had a buttload on eBay with credit money and not actual earnings. Interesting. That's an interesting lesson for a lot of people. He bought a buttload of items on eBay with credit. I'm assuming that's like credit card thing. But he didn't have any actual earnings. Boy, that's a whole other video. For this card, I borrowed from my creative earnings to pay for it. If the card's legit, I'd like to hold on to for the long term. And yes, I do collect dual lands, something I would like to buy. Well, I mean, that's up to you. I'll let you know. First of all, I want to comment to everybody. Now is not a good time to sell your cards. The market is in shambling, crappy condition. So bring it out the Rudy God book. And let me jump to Tundras here. We're going to jump to the world of Tundras. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this. We're not want to pull any of these out and mix anything up. Point is, when you look at this, what is this? Oh, which is a filler card, or is this? Wait, does he think this one's fake? I didn't realize there was this is just a Core 20 common card. And actually, this has been a good test here, just to let you guys know. When you look at things like this, all new Magic cards, you can literally see the actual blue core paper in the middle of it. I know it's a little bright. I have very bright natural lighting here. So that's something. So actually, it's a good time to bring up the other thing. I'm bringing out the separated card over here that somebody sent. So this is a great example. I can already tell this is not a vintage card. This is a new Magic card. So when you look at it, here, we'll see that? You see that kind of waviness? All those weird little lines and texture through it? That's probably the blue core paper, and that's kind of how it's pressed together. It's not a smooth. It actually has almost like a rough textured look like that. So kind of keep that in mind, everybody. So I want to lay that out there. Now, again, vintage cards do not have that. So when you look at this vintage card here, you are not going to see that waviness. You can see the infamous Magic logo easily through. And, of course, you don't see that waviness. That is the old school, because the old school card stock is very different than New Age. It's very different. Well, I can tell you this is a 100% real card, by the way. The texture, yeah, it's a little glossy or softer, but that could be from oils from people's hands. Has some nice natural little play wear on it. It's definitely going to be a light played, nice LP, SP, a little slight play, little dings and this and that, but not perfect. I wouldn't grade it. I wouldn't do anything crazy like that because it's just not perfect condition. But this is a 100% authentic card. Most likely he was thrown off because he said the texture. And yeah, some of these cards have like a smoother, glossier texture. Sometimes that can be from oils in your hand, people touching it, or simply put, the particular print run or the batch of that card. But it's not overly glossy. It's got a nice matte finish like that. Cardstock, the feel of it, it definitely matches. So we're going to leave this in the sleeve because I don't want to mix his card up with any of my personal cards. But I want to show you guys, so when we look at Tundras, remember, Tundras is one of those dual lands that has some variance. So let's pick out, like right over here. You can see Tundra on the left versus Tundra on the right. This is one of the dual lands that has the variance. So we're going to go here and here, and we're going to look at, so two examples of my Tundras here. You'll notice one on the left here. Does Rudy's tool around? Well, here's a knockoff Rudy's tool. So you can see on the left here, this is more of a grayer Tundra. The one on the right's more of a brown tone. So there's two different, literally completely different ink tones on the Tundras. Now, both cards are real. So if you look at these, both of these are real cards. Oh, that one's pretty rough condition, though. Yeah, they're both real cards. They have the correct texture, the correct feel. You know, if you want to do the little light test type thing. I mean, these are definitely, they got the real nice look to it. Very, very nice. No actual inking or problems. But you are going to have certain cards. Antiquities was like this, too. There are certain cards from eras that have the variance. So here's our card in question in the nice sleeve here. So obviously, this one, you can see, is more like the one right here. It's got that more in the sleeve, kind of distorts the color a little bit, but you can see compared to this one. So the one in the middle, see, there is a variance on the coloring. It does not mean the card is real or fake, though. I mean, just the variance is a natural thing. But when you put them all together, I mean, they are real cards. There's no question about it. I would definitely be interested in buying the card. But that brings me to the next point of the conversation. I do not recommend anybody sell because the market is completely in absolutely garbage condition. The vintage card market is in terrible, terrible, terrible shape, everybody. The buy list, and I got a whole other videos and segments and discussions on this thing coming up. But just be aware, the market as a whole for old cards continues to be a dumpster fire. By the way, sir, I'll go ahead and sign this. I don't know if you want this one back. I don't know if that's just something, I don't know what the purpose of that was, but just laying that out there. So I really want to lay that out there. I don't want to get too much in this video, but I just want people to be aware. The stores and the buy list are tanking their prices. I've got a lot of content coming on that topic. Just be very careful, please. So I want to jump over to a couple small things. Yeah, so for the record, people back in the day used to do this a lot. They would take magic cards and they would kind of use, what was it, like, I don't know, nail polish remover, acetone, mineral spirits, and they would separate the layers of the card and try to reback them. That was kind of the big thing with the collector's editions and the beta cards. So that's where that came from. Now, I bought this bizarre Baghdad on eBay. Guy wanted like $1,200. He took my offer of like $9.99. It was a 10% eBay bucks bonus, so I paid $900 in credit card cash back and then a little bit of coupon code I had. So I paid about $8.75 for this 8.5 graded Bazaar. And I thought I was getting a good deal, and then I started seeing what's going on with the buy list, and Library of Alexandria and Star City and all these companies are tanking the prices. Tanking them. And I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I paid $8.75 for this, and I'm almost feeling like I didn't even get a good deal. Isn't that crazy? That is how much things are changing right now. That's why I tell everyone you got to be real careful. The market and the prices of everything, the vintage market remains very, very weak. I mean, I don't know what specifically is going on. Some people say, oh, it's the winter, Rudy. The fourth quarter is always like that. That's normal. I don't know. But I am definitely concerned about the vintage prices, how bad the market is. I don't know how much lower we're going to go, but there is still no sign of a bottom. The big boys are very nervous. They're not holding much in inventory. So I'm going to make a lot of other videos coming up on the next week or so about this topic. So we're going to talk about that more. But I just at least want to share that, hey, I'm still actually buying these type of things. And I have a major collection deal video coming up pretty soon that's in the process of being filmed from a huge local deal with Power 9 and everything. But anyway, so last thing on this video I wanted to kind of go over and kind of mention a few small things was I get people ask me about these things, and people send me messages about these artist proofs and how do you evaluate these things if it's a collector's edition, this beta artist proof with like a white backing with a signature type thing. I get this kind of thing quite a bit. Unfortunately, I'm going to be honest with you, the people who are into collecting these type of things absolutely love them. The people who don't, and they don't really want to start going into these and these white backs and square corners and everything, They literally, the rest of the market hates them. So because of that, it creates a very strange niche market, everybody. I don't have a good answer about people who contact me about wanting to sell or buy artist proofs and variants and different misprints and anything in that oddities direction. It's not my specialty. You guys have to contact some of the other scholars out there, but that is not my area of expertise. My biggest reason is it's too much of a niche market for me. They're unique, they're cool, and this one has 50 different artist proofs. I think they're all 50 artist proofs. But I just don't like the lack of liquidity. The people who love them, love them. The rest, a big chunk of the market just kind of shuns and turns their head against them. And I don't like that kind of variance. I like things that are more, dual lands. I like, kind of staples. Very unique cards that are very recognizable, very iconic, and appeal to a broader audience. That's kind of my perspective. I can't even talk. That's my perspective on everything. So again, if that's something you want to collect and try to get them all, yeah, it's going to cost you a lot, especially for certain cards that are super rare and almost impossible to be found. But again, trying to sell them, you could take a big bath, because if you go to any form of vendor store or someone like me, I can't pay you a premium for stuff like that. And big stores and vendors, and they can't pay big premiums for products like that. So you got to be real careful going with something that has a very small, finite market. And that's something that's probably another conversation for another video, discussing kind of the market sizes of each type of Magic product. So hope you guys learned something today about these type of things. But yes, your card's real. These are strange little white back goofy things. And Rudy bought a Bazaar for $8.75, and I actually feel like I still overpaid. Boy, we're in a weird little world, because again, all that matters is new gold and Drano boxes, flashy products, and the old stuff, reserve list, doesn't even matter. Have a great day.